Good afternoon, my fellow monks, and welcome to another video with the Monkey Sensing Sensei. Now, you might be wondered why I'm dressed so nicely. Well, there's a very good reason for that. We are celebrating an anniversary, the 40th anniversary of one of my favorite albums, if not my favorite album now, after hearing this pressing by this band. And of course, we are talking about the wonderful and perfect Moving Pictures album by Rush. Now, this pressing is essentially the Walmart exclusive opaque red vinyl. This might very well be the real audiophile pressing of this album. And that is a bold claim to make, I know, but after putting this on and listening to it literally just a half an hour ago, I gotta say this is probably the best this album has sounded since those 2015 reissues. But before I get to all the positives and the things I love about this pressing, I want to get into some of the negatives. Now, while this is a Walmart pressing and they're not known for their quality pressings, I will say this sounds quite good. But when it comes to the extras you get, you don't really get much at all. So all you pretty much get is this. You get the record in this crappy white inner sleeve. So it's kind of a knock right there. And then you don't really get anything bonus. You just get the regular vanilla inner sleeve that it came with back in 81, and then when they reissued it back in 2015. So it's essentially what you get with the 2015. You don't get the handwritten lyric sheets that you got with the single LP versions of just the black vanilla, and you don't, or the deluxe editions that you got that you can order on Rush Backstage or any other music retailer. This is pretty much a standard vanilla copy. So I was kind of disappointed by that, but for the price and how this sounds, I would say it's still worth it overall. And another thing I'm not really a fan of is that they didn't really make it the embossed cover like they did with some of the other versions of this record. It's just a standard vanilla copy like the 2015. If you put them side by side, there really isn't much of a difference. Now, you're probably going to get some glare off of it because I decided to keep this one in the plastic because it'll differentiate. If I put it in a sleeve, like the outer sleeves that I use for 99% of my other records, then they'll all look the same. So to differentiate the covers and the albums, I wanted to keep this one somewhat sealed in its plastic. So here's the Walmart version, and then here's the 2015 reissue. So basically the same thing. Not really much different, honestly. It's just this one has, obviously this one has the plastic off of it, and this one has plastic on it, but it has the same exact color, saturation. Let's see, the backs are identical. Of course, this one's going to say 2021 on it, but it has the same exact direct metal mastered. Only this one's in red to match the theme of the album, and this one actually is in more of a gray. So that's different. But other than that, they're exactly the same. But now that I got all the negatives out of the way, which there weren't very many, I want to get to the positives, which there are a boatload. The first of which being the opaque red vinyl that is exclusive to Walmart. And to me, is the real appeal of this pressing, besides the sound quality, of course. And I had to put it, when I first got this, I was going to just say screw it and keep it in the initial inner sleeve it came with. But I really want to protect this pressing, as this will probably be my main listening copy now. So we take it out of its lovely sleeve, and it's beautiful. Again, it's opaque. You can see through it. Actually, what's interesting to me is when you look through it, it kind of looks pink almost. Because this room is kind of sunny, so it depends on your lighting conditions. But when you look at it, if you turn it around, yeah, it's red. You probably can't see it right now, but I'm looking at it and it's red. But if you flip it, it almost looks sort of pink, which is interesting to me. Here it's red. Here it's more pink. But yeah, it's beautiful. Again, you can tell it's almost the 40th anniversary edition because of the way the center labels are. Because on the 2015, the center labels are different. So you can see on these ones, you have the track listing and the custom center label. But it's different basically for the 2014 reissues. That's one thing you'll notice about these newer 40th anniversary pressings. This one doesn't say in black and white it's a 40th anniversary pressing, but you can tell just because of the center label. So if you're in the used market down the line and you find a copy of this record and you want to know how to tell what version it is, how to differentiate the versions, this is how you can. You'll have the center label, it'll just say side 1 and side 2. And now that I'm done talking about the presentation and what you get with the record and how the opaque vinyl itself looks, I want to get into the sound quality of this pressing. The opening chord of Tom Sawyer, you know you're going to get into an excellent sounding pressing. The synths and the drums are so crystal clear and clean. There's no surface noise. And then when the guitars come in and the vocals come in, everything just gels so well together. Even quieter parts of Red Barchetta and Limelight, and the camera eye with that opening where you hear the people talking and you hear the cars, the car horns beeping. There's no pops, there's no clicks, there's no surface noise. It sounds so clean. I was actually blown away by how clean this pressing is. You can hear dead silence. And then when everything kicks in, it just sounds so perfect. The stereo panning is great. When you hear Neil's drums going from the right side of the speaker to the left and vice versa, and then sometimes Geddy's vocals will go from one speaker to the other. Just the panning and the stereo aspects are one reason to own this album on vinyl alone. This copy or any other copy, but I think this copy does the stereo panning and just the sound quality the best. Opening to Red Barchetta and Limelight, and the opening parts of the camera eye where you hear the car horns honking and people are talking, and then the second part of that song where you hear the English people talking back and forth, you hear dead silence on this pressing. There's no surface noise, no pops and clicks. It all sounds so clean. And that shocked me from a colored vinyl pressing. This pressing actually sold me on colored vinyl, and I might want to seek more out in the future. Now they know of their sound quality potential. But really, the one song I really wanted to highlight on this pressing is the amazing reggae rocker, Vital Signs. It might be in my top 10 Rush songs of all time. Just how it opens. Just the opening drums. Then you have the reggae synths and the bass on the opening, which again you can hear even clearer on this mix. It's sublime. Between the synth work and the different genres that they pull from to make every song sound different, and every track is pulling from some other kind of genre. Like, one thing I didn't notice before with this album, but the faster parts of Red Barchetta and Tom Sawyer and the camera eye, the speedy bits, almost remind me of punk. Because many people will know punk was really big in the late 70s and early 80s, just like how New Wave was. So I feel like Rush did pull a little bit from the punk scene when they did those faster bits. But getting back to Vital Signs, it's a great way to close the album out with a foreseeing eye to the future. Because many people will know, a lot of Rush fans will know, after this they came out with Signals, which was a total tonal shift for them. And Vital Signs is a great way to ease people into it. In fact, this whole album is a great way to ease people into it. Because from the opening synths of Tom Sawyer, you know it's something a little bit different. And you can hear Red Barchetta and YYZ and Limelight, they all have more synths in them. And even the camera eye has a lot of synths in it. And so before you even knew it, they were doing something different and looking towards the future. So it's still progressive and heavy, but they start adding more synths to it. And then by Vital Signs, it's mostly synths towards the end of it. And so I feel like as soon as that song trails off, you could almost put on Signals right after, and it's like, okay, yes, this is the evolution of where Rush is going to go next. I cannot stop gushing about this pressing and this album. Because of this pressing, this actually might be my favorite Rush album of all time now. Unless I hear a better version of Permanent Waves, this one might take the top spot. But only time will tell. We'll see. So I am aware that there are other versions of this 40th anniversary celebration vinyl out there. So there are single LP versions, which actually had not been done before. Usually they would just do the 3 LP or go deluxe and super deluxe. So there's that one for about $40 that I'm aware of. And then there's also the deluxe 5 LP set, which pulls together the whole live show that they did in Massey Garden. I think it's called Massey Garden Hall, if I recall correctly. It could be wrong about that, but I know it's the whole show from the 25th of, I believe it's the 25th of March, 1981. So it pulls all that whole show together, and that's on 2 LPs. Actually, no, 4 LPs. Yeah, it's on 4 LPs. So you have sides 1 and 2, which are the actual moving picture, the album. And then I think what they expect you to do is they expect you to put on the other records. So you have sides 3, 4, 5, and 6. And that takes up the whole 5 LP version of that. And then there's also the Super Deluxe box set, which I've been watching unboxings on YouTube. I actually just got done watching the Rush Fans version, where they have 6 panel members, Ryan, Vivian, and I think Ralph, Todd, I don't remember the last 2, but they're all unboxing at the same time their deluxe vinyl box set. So it has the 5 LPs, it has the Blu-ray, it has CDs, it has an actual model, kind of Red Barchetta model car on a stand. It has 2 drumsticks that has some kind of, it has Neil's signature on it, not his real signature, but it has his initials, his signature on it. And it says Moving Pictures 40th. You get a bunch of posters, you get a hardbound book. In my dreams, I would love to own that, but it's probably not going to happen anytime soon. Maybe one day I'll spring for the 5 LP set, and I'll probably work my way down and get the Permanent Ways, the 3 LP, Hemispheres 3 LP, Farewell to Kings 3 LP, and then the 2112 3 LP set. Because I'll be happy if I can get those and see if there's any difference in the sound quality between those pressings and the 2015 reissues, because I'm actually very curious about that. I want to know, what version did you guys get? Did you get the single LP version? Did you get the Walmart exclusive pressing like I did? Or did you opt to get the 5 LP or Super Deluxe versions? Let me know in the comments below. And make sure to like, subscribe, and hit that bell notification for more videos in the future. And of course, like always, make sure to keep meditating through vinyl.